Crossing route, Gurley makes the catch 20. First down, he hurdles. Far side of the field, stays on his feet. Inside the 10, Todd Gurley making his case for MVP. He throws back shoulder. Higbee reaches out and makes an incredible catch for a first down. Off his back foot, he throws to the end zone. Cooper Kupp leaping to make the catch. Out of bounds, he has it for 6. He's got a knee-high snap, looking left, now over the middle. He pump fakes. He rolls to his right with Connor Barwin pursuing. He knocks him down. The ball is thrown up in the air and batted away. Incomplete. The Rams defense clinches it. Goff will come on the field for victory formation. The Rams sideline across the field from us erupts in celebration. And so the playoffs are coming back to L.A. this January at the Coliseum. We, not me, versus the NFC. And for the first time since 2003, the Rams are NFC West champions.
Welcome to Rams Talk Radio. This is Managing Editor Garrett Sisti with the man, the myth, the legend, Norm Hightower, for our Week 3 preview podcast. We're covering everything for the Battle of L.A. Norm, how you feeling, buddy?
Great. How you doing, bud?
I'm getting anxious for this game. I gotta be honest with you. This is gonna be a good one.
This is the test. This is when we figure out if the Rams are for real or not.
And we think they are, but you know the talent level says we are. We're about to find out for real.
Yep.
Folks, if you could head over to iTunes, we're slowly, and I stress the word slowly, creeping towards that 100 5-star reviews. Really appreciate all the support there. If you could subscribe, you can also find us on Stitcher, SoundCloud, all those places. Pretty much almost everywhere you could find a podcast, we're there. And we'll work on getting on some more platforms as well. So also don't forget we're on IEBeatRadio.com. They air our show Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at 10 a.m. Pacific time. All right, here we go. Battle for LA week. Tonight we had the Bolton Blue writer and lightning round host Garrett Sisti on the show. He's been on before, good guy. Norm, before we even get to him, though, what do you think is really at stake for the Rams this week?
You know, I don't buy the Battle of LA hype, so that to me doesn't really matter. What matters to me is I want to see where our defense is at. So far, you know, the last 6 quarters, big goose egg, or in Wade Phillips' words, donuts going up. And that's exciting. But this is a real true test for our defense. Phillip Rivers, you know, lots of stars on there on the Chargers squad. They've got a running game. They've got a passing game. They've got an elite quarterback. So this is the time for our defense to really show us what they can do. And then, of course, their defense isn't too shabby either. So, you know, this will be our first true test on both sides of the ball. And I think what's at stake is where we're at right now. Are we an elite team already, you know, going into week 3, or do we still have some work to do? And I think that's what this game's going to tell us.
I also wonder if the Rams, where they are maturity-wise. This is a team that's got several veterans mixed in with the young guys. I just look at it and go, the Vikings are next Thursday night. And is it possible that this team will look past the Chargers to the Vikings? Because the Vikings, to me, is the even bigger test. And we'll find out how mature this team is come Sunday if they go out there like a house on fire and just go right after the Chargers. And also, one more thing, too. It's interesting to me that you talked about the Battle of L.A. not being this real big thing. Michael Brockers was on Twitter tonight. He doesn't see it as a big deal. He's like, I still see him as the Chargers. I'm paraphrasing there. So I guess the Rams players are more in line with what you're thinking, that, it's the Chargers. They're across town. They're in different facilities. They're not even near us right now. It's not really a battle for L.A.
Yeah, I think the team's mature enough to, you know, I think most people are mature enough to go, you know what, the Rams are L.A., the Chargers are San Diego, now transplanted in L.A. I really just don't see that there's such a big deal there. And if you look at the crowd sizes and so forth, I think that kind of tells the tale there. And I'd rather focus on what's important. And the Battle of LA, to me, isn't important. This team showing their maturity, showing that they're ready to have one hell of a season. That's what I want to see. That's more important to me. A win is more important to me than, you know, a battle for LA.
All right, folks. So that's where we are to kind of get started tonight. Real quick before we bring Garrett on, I want to ask you that, hey, if you are really into Rams history and you like it with a bit of personal touch, check out Jim Hawk's Hollywood's team, Rick Glamour, the 1950s Los Angeles Rams. The book tells the story of the 1950s Rams through the lens of Jim's dad, John, who was an offensive lineman for the team from 1953 to 1957. But check out this son's story of his father and the team he played for in an era of glitz, glamour, and future Hall of Famers. Read about players like Norm Van Brocklin, Elroy, Crazy Legs Hirsch, Tom Fears, and Les Richter in this story spanning the 1950s Los Angeles Rams. Folks, you can find Hawk's book online at HollywoodTeam.com and on Twitter at HollywoodTeam. It's available in both hardback and electronic form at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Folks, it's worth it. And something I haven't mentioned about this book before, this really wasn't meant to be this grandiose history book. It's more of a, this personal story from Jim to his dad. It meant a lot to him to be able to write this. And what many people don't know is a lot of this actually goes to charity. So if you could, go pick it up. We also have a couple books available through our weekly trivia contests, and nobody entered this week. So hopefully at the end of the show, you guys go get a book. Okay? You ready for this, Norm?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, folks, here is our interview with the Lightning Rounds. Garrett Sisti. Here it goes.
All right, guys, I'm here with Garrett Sisti from the Lightning Round podcast, also writes for Bolts from the Blue. Garrett, welcome to the show. Are you ready for Battle for LA?
I'm ready. I don't know how much of a battle it is, but I am ready.
Well, that's what we want to really kind of investigate here. The big shocker in week one was, to me, because I actually had the Chargers going 15-1.
Oh, wow.
I bought the Charger Kool-Aid, okay? I just felt like the division was weaker. Then right away, the Chiefs beat them 38-28. And honestly, I'd given the talent level on the Chargers right now, I thought it would be more of a blowout than 31-20 in Buffalo. So help me kind of navigate what's really going on with this Chargers team. What can you tell me about them?
So on the defensive end, and in week one, it was basically Tyreek Hill who torched him because Travis Kelce had one catch. It was 8 yards. Kareem Hunt had under 50 yards. I know everybody that had him in fantasy knows all about that. But, nobody hurt them except Tyreek Hill. And, the Chargers are dealing with a lot of rookies on the back end. They have Derwin James, their first-round safety. They got Kaiser White, who's drafted in day 3 as their linebacker. They've got a lot of new pieces. So they kind of just let the speed take care of it. And Tyreek Hill burnt him. And, he's not only scored the touchdown on offense, but also returned a kick. So special teams was an issue in week one. But in week two with the Bills, the Chargers got off to an early lead, scored 28 points in the first half, and then basically coasted through the second half, through the third and fourth quarter. It wasn't so much that the Bills shut them down. It was that the Chargers just didn't really, step on the gas. They kind of just let up and kind of, said, hey, if Josh Allen can beat us, then we'll get back into it. And of course he couldn't. And so, you'd like for them to go for the kill in the second half, but some people are saying that the Chargers were trying not to put too much on tape because he knows what kind of guy Sean McVay is, and if they put too many good plays on tape in the second half in a game that they were on their way to winning anyway, that would be bad for week 3. So that's kind of the theory floating around there, but in week 2, they knew, the Bills' defense stinks. Their offense stinks. They knew that they got out to an early lead and just kind of let it go from there.
And so now heading into week 3, what is the feeling about this matchup with your new crosstown rivals?
Well, I mean, look, the Rams are now 2-0, favorite to win the Super Bowl. I think they're 5-1 odds now. I mean, they have the best odds to win the Super Bowl. So everybody knows what good of a team this is in the Rams. And I don't think the Chargers have really been tested through 2 games. They lost in game 1, and there was a lot of bad drops and stuff in game 1. They should have put a lot more points on the board, but this is the true test. They haven't really gone against the real running back. Kareem Hunt and LaShawn McCoy didn't really run a lot because the games were kind of lopsided. One, the Bills had to throw in game 2, but in game 1, Tyreek Hill was the guy they kept going to. So Now they got to face Todd Gurley, who's not only an incredible running back, but also a dangerous man out of the backfield. You've got a rookie like Kaiser White matched up with him. So, and the run defense hasn't really been tested. So the third-round pick Justin Jones, the defensive tackle, is going to be tested. So there are a lot of questions here, and nobody quite knows how good this team is because both wins and losses were kind of crooked. You know, they didn't fight and lose any games. They were just kind of blown out by one player in game one and then just were a better team in game two. They didn't really have to do much. So this is the true test. And, we're all kind of seeing if this team can compete.
Yeah, Norm and I, we'd love to give you a hard time, especially because, you're a San Diego guy and you stuck with your team. That's props to you. But watching this battle for LA as a San Diego guy, how does this feel for you, and how are other fans like you dealing with it?
I think we're all conflicted. I think everybody, other than the fans that are from LA and people who don't really care about this stuff, but it seems like most Charger fans want the players and the coaches to succeed, but they don't want the owner to, and they want the owner to fall on his face. So there's part rooting for your home team, the team you've always rooted for, and then also not wanting the owner to get any credibility and get any credit with any wins or going to the playoffs or anything like that. They all wanted to, and I think everybody's kind of hoping that, nationally it's getting recognition that they can't fill a soccer stadium. And most of it is opposing fans. And, this fight for LA is so one-sided that, you can go to any place in LA and you'll find more Ram stuff than you will Charger stuff, if there are any Charger stuff at all. You'll probably find more UCLA and USC stuff than you will Charger. So it's a weird time to be a Charger fan, and especially those who followed them while they were in San Diego. It's a tough time. There's a lot of strife among the fan base. Do you guys find the same thing with the old St. Louis fans and the new LA fans?
We do, to a degree. There's been some sort of, let me say, they've made peace with it to a degree. There are a few of them still out there, a couple who were actually part of the media in St. Louis who still want to keep this going. And I won't say who it was, but there was a former member of the media who actually put up online on Sunday during the game, like panorama footage of the crowd, and then started making all kinds of comments about it. But if you looked at the film, if you looked at the actual footage, it was before the game. He was acting like it was during the game. But yet, 66,000 people were there at the game, and there's all kinds of published pictures that shows that crowd. Now, you put 66K in the Coliseum, that's a good crowd, because that stadium sucks. I can vouch for it. That stadium sucks. No NFL team should ever play there again. It's way, it's outdated. Way beyond. It's so outdated. You can't see anything there. It's not a great place. There's no real great place to park. The tailgating there is awful. Yeah, I could never blame any fan for not going to a game at Memorial Stadium, not the Coliseum, not because of the fact of its value for history. It's just not a great place to watch a game anymore. I'd rather go to Maggie's Pub or to another place to watch a game. It's just more fun. So, I can totally get it. And then we come back to you guys. You're talking about can't fill a soccer stadium. That was on the news where I'm at. In Ohio, and that was on the news. All these Kansas City Chiefs fans, and where are the Chargers fans at? What is the real deal with this right now?
Well, the reality is that they can't fill a soccer stadium. I don't know what the NFL does. And in the first year, you kind of thought it was expected because, Dean Spanos, the owner of the Chargers, kind of split Charger fans, and there weren't any Charger fans in LA. And so, you kind of expected a slow go. But then in year two, when you're talking about a team, you had them going 15-1. A lot of people have them going to the Super Bowl, at least making the playoffs, definitely winning the division. This is a team that has high expectations, and there's only 27,000 in that stadium. You're getting there are quotes out there that there are Texas high school stadiums that are getting more people in their stands than Chargers, a professional football team, are on Sundays, and it is sad. So, I think ultimately the NFL is starting to see that maybe Dean Spanos oversold his hand, and maybe, that they're saying, they'll eventually get the fans. And maybe that's not the case. I don't know how much longer and how many, games they have to win. They're on the cusp of making the playoffs last year, and they can't do it this year. So the reality is they're in trouble, and the NFL has like some serious conversations to have because it's just gaining steam. It's everywhere. It's not just in local San Diego, LA markets. It's everywhere. In Ohio, you're seeing it. You're seeing it everywhere. It's published. New York Times. You're seeing it everywhere. So it is no secret that that Dean Spanos ripped this fan base apart, and he's not getting any help from any of the LA fans now.
I kind of view it as I'm